If you're going to spend any time working with JavaScript, or indeed any code whatsoever, it's essential that you have a good editor. Your choice of editor is going to be a very personal one, but I want to go over some features that might help you determine what makes a good one. The first thing a good editor does is make your code more readable. I'm looking at this JavaScript file from the exercise files in Visual Studio Code. Most decent editors these days offer syntax highlighting, which will show you different features of the language you're working with in different colors. So functions and other language keywords will be in blue in this case, strings will be in red, and so forth. Code folding is a really useful feature when you're working on long code files like this one. If I mouse over into the gutter here, I get these little arrows, and if I click one, it folds the code for me. This can reduce distractions. Makes it much easier to see what you're doing, especially when working on a long file. There's also function or symbol navigation. When you build up a huge library of stuff in a file, as you can see, this one's pretty long, having a navigator that can help you jump to different points is really great. In Visual Studio Code, I can use Command-T or Control-T on Windows and Linux to jump to functions to find in this file. So let's say I wanted to jump to formatter. I can see it already, but it takes my cursor right to it. If you have a folder with lots of JavaScript files, there's often key commands to find symbols and functions across all of them. Another feature of a great editor is that it makes your code more writable. By that, I mean things like block or brace balancing. When you're writing code, punctuation is very meaningful, especially things like curly braces, parentheses, that sort of thing. And block balancing helps you see where those blocks start and where they end. So if I turn off the code folding here, when I click a curly brace, the other one that goes with it is highlighted. There are extensions available in the Visual Studio Code extension marketplace that can enhance this even further, changing the colors of these, drawing lines in between them. Basically, almost any level of visual enhancement that you might need to be able to see where these go is available via an extension for this editor. Many editors also offer auto-typing, which can help manage code indentation by keeping your code more readable. So if I hit return right here, even though I didn't hit the tab key, my indentation matches what I already have. Also, if I type punctuation like quotation marks of various types, or braces, parentheses, Visual Studio Code automatically adds the pair, so I only have to type one of them. So we've seen what all of that looks like here in Visual Studio Code. Let's compare it to an editor that is not code aware. Here's the same file in TextEdit, which has no code awareness whatsoever. It's much harder to read, which would make me more error prone, and no one needs that. And actually writing code would be slower, and frankly, less enjoyable. This is work, but we shouldn't be miserable while we do it. I've been using Visual Studio Code here, which is free and available for macOS, Windows, and Linux. Some other fine options include Sublime Text, which is also available for all platforms, and it's a paid application but has a very generous free trial. WebStorm by JetBrains is also a commercial app available for all platforms with a nice trial. WebStorm is a full-on integrated development environment. In my own work as a developer, I use its sibling, PHPStorm, which is basically the same application with additional sophisticated support for PHP. But if you don't use PHP, WebStorm is cheaper and excellent. I also still use BBEdit, which is only available for macOS, and is now a freemium app. It has a powerful free mode that you can use forever, with a paid upgrade for some of its more advanced features. Please try one or more of these options. There are trials available for all of them, and some of them are free. See what works for you. Once you start working in JavaScript on any kind of regular basis, you're definitely going to want to have a good editor.